Antifa protest in the middle of Pittston in 1970?
No.
Take Antifa into a time machine and put them into Pittston 1970, 1960s, and let them start protesting in the neighborhood. See what happens.
Yeah.
They wouldn't exist anymore. That problem would be solved.
And Scotty brought up Pittston a lot, and if you guys seen The Irishman, that's where Russell Bufalino.
And we go up to Pittston and pick up Russ, which is usually how we did it.
Joe Pesci played him in The Irishman. He was the head of the Pittston mob, and also lived right here in Kingston, right in our neighborhood. And he died in '94. But yeah, he controlled all that. And then we found out about like all the other stuff later. But yeah, at a different time though, man. Like, you know, and that's why I love like those older movies, even Hoffa, like with Nicholson, like that's what like, man, like we're working and like it's just they're proud of that. And now it's just I don't know, I don't get it. We need like, you know, that great reset of not just like reset of financials or anything like that. We need a reset of attitude adjustments and like, you know, what's really going on here. Because personally, I'm like one of the last generations and you are too. You're a couple of years, I think, younger to me, right? Like 2 or 3?
37.
37, I'm 40. So I turn 41 next Friday the 13th. But it's just that there just needs to be kids are being born and they have a cell phone immediately and they're just locked on that screen constantly. When me and Scotty were growing up, I had one uncle who had like the big VHS camcorder, like filming us. A-Rod put up a post today, Alex Rodriguez. He couldn't find Pat Riley's auto book. They didn't make it yet on digital. So he found an old tape recorder and still has it on tape where there's a will, there's a way. And like people though, Scotty, remember you hear a good song and like you would have to hit record on your radio. Now everything's in the palm of your hand. You don't even have to like work for anything. And listen, that's great because I'm a musician. I can just go, hey, Alexa, play this bitch. And then she'll play it. You know, oh, I said bitch. I know. Here comes Antifa. And here's the other thing too.
Wait, who looked at who as a threat?
The mafia. The government looked at the mob as a threat.
They were competition.
And then like speaking of keyboard warriors, like even if someone did cooperate and these guys calling these guys rats, I want to see them survive, not a minute, 10 seconds with one of those guys. Face to face and say that to their face. You know, and it's that quote by Mike I couldn't agree with more. But then the extreme will say, oh, you're promoting violence. Well, yet they're the ones though who are actually doing the violence.
Well, you know what, Eric? It's funny you should say that because it's like something I can piggyback off of with that is I love how the misconception of an addict or a previous addict is a weak individual. And I'll tell you what, I know some people that were addicts and, you know, went out and they were, you know, they hustled in the streets and then they went and got a college degree after they got sober. And one of my friends who's now 11 years sober, I believe, he's a fucking millionaire.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, like, put 2 addicts that are sober in one of those escape rooms or whatever like that, they would get out faster than anybody else because I had never had more negotiate. An addict, if you want something, you're gonna get it.
Oh, every day.
One way or another.
Even if you have negative whatever in the bank account, you're gonna get it.